Hi guys, welcome to another episode of AJAWI TV, where we discuss architectural and construction related topics. I'm AJAWI, and for today we'll be talking about the Land Surveyor's report. Right? So, who is the Land Surveyor? Why do we need a Land Surveyor? And why does the Parish Council always ask us to provide a Land Surveyor's report whenever we're doing a building application? In fact, you cannot submit your building plan without a Land Surveyor's report. All right, so without any further ado, let's head into this video. Alright guys, so at this point of the video, I want you to click the like, click the subscribe, click the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we make videos just like this one. Alright, it's very important that you do that so that YouTube can pick up this channel and bring it even further. Alright, so who is the Land Surveyor? Alright, the Land Surveyor really prepares your survey report. He prepares the topographic survey, which is, that it shows the slope of the land or the terrain. He does multiple things, but in residential construction, he really is the one that you go to prepare your land surveyor's report whenever you're submitting your building plan to the parish council. Also, if it is that you have land that is not registered, then you will need a land surveyor to peg out that property. So you'll hear from time to time people ask, or people say that they need a land surveyor to do the pegging of a property, right? So that they can get a title. So in the case where you need a title done or your title done, then you need a land surveyor to really assist with that process as well. But why do you need the land surveyor report, right? The land surveyor report is important because it shows if there's a breach on your property, right? That's the main reason that I found that the parish council will ask for the land surveyor's report, because once your land surveyor goes to your property, the first thing that he's looking out for are breaches, right? The first set of things that he's looking out for are breaches. So he will look to see how close the building is to the boundary, and he will indicate to you whether or not you're breaching the covenant of your property, and so that you can probably fix that issue. So the council will get that information, because you have to remember that the council is not necessarily going to your property to verify that from the get-go. So the land surveyor report is what really has that information. The other thing that the land surveyor report has is that it has the coordinates. Well, it depends on the surveyor. Some surveyors put it on it, some surveyors don't. They put on the plotting point for the property, right? The boundary information, that's what I'm talking about. So you'll know the length of that particular boundary going around the property. So if it's an irregularly shaped property, then you'll have to plot it in order to get it, and the land surveyor's report really gives you that information. In fact, I ask my land surveyor to always give me that information whenever he is providing me with a land surveyor's report, right? If it is that you ask for your title when you go to the titles office, then you should ensure that you ask for a diagram, right? So whenever you go to the titles office to collect a title, you ask them for a certified copy with the surveyor's diagram on it, right? So the surveyor can actually plot that information, and you as the technologist can actually plot that information into your program to get the actual boundary right? Because by looking at the land surveyor's report, right, he may give you the length of a particular boundary, but you may not in some cases get the angle that that particular boundary line is on, right? So you have to ensure that you get that information as a technologist, right? And that will prevent breaches, right? Another thing that the land surveyor does in residential construction is that he does setting out of buildings, right? So if it is that you have a building that you're doing and you want to ensure that you're not going to breach the covenant, then you can actually ask a land surveyor to actually set out your building for you. So the land surveyor in that case where he's setting out a building would actually come to your property and actually set out your building to ensure that you don't have a breach on the property. All right. The land surveyor also does what is called a topographic survey, right? That is where you're building on a slope, right? This is needed whenever you're building on a slope property. So you're on a hillside, the architect or the architectural technologist or even the engineer needs to know this information so that they can do the necessary things to ensure that you have a secured structure, right? So they will know where to cut, where to fill, where to put retaining walls and stuff like that. So what the land surveyor really does is he comes on site and he uses his instrument to record certain points on the site, and then once he's finished he goes back to his program and he puts him into his program and he actually plot what is called contours, major and minor contours, right? And depending on how far these contours are to each other and how high they are or the elevation of those contours, then it will determine the slope of your property. Right, so a little story for you guys. Right, I had a structure that was being built, right, and the client called me one day and said, hey Mr. Allen, I needed to come up at the site. You know, there's an issue up there. So I was like, what kind of issue? Because I draw a particular way to ensure that, you know, I give all necessary information. But anyways, we went to the site because that's a part of what I do. We went to the site, right? And the client was saying the building is too close to the boundary and right. So when we check the drawing and we check the boundary, we're seeing that yes, in fact, the building is too close to the boundary based on the plan, right? Because the plan was saying one thing and the building is actually closer than what is on the plan, right? So I was like, who set out the building? The contractor set out the building, right? They didn't have a land surveyor who actually set out the building for them. So they ended up in a situation where they had to modify the covenant to now accommodate that distance from the road, right? Because this was done because the bank, because they had borrowed from the bank, right? The bank said, hey, we're not dispersing any more money. We're halting construction until you solve that problem. So they had to modify the covenant just to ensure that they one didn't have to demolish the breach, which is how close the building is, and two, they didn't want to reduce the structure itself. So they had to modify the covenant to accommodate that. All right. So now you know that you need a land surveyor's report whenever you're doing your building application, or you need a topographic survey done by a land surveyor whenever you're doing your building application, so that the building can be designed accordingly. All right. So now we're going to go into some good news. I have some good news for you guys. So we had actually reached out to the Master Builders Association to actually get some information from them and to get an interview for you guys, and they are very happy. They want to help returning residents, so they decided that, hey, just provide them with some questions ahead of time so that they can be prepared. They don't want to give you information that is not that has not been verified. So they asked me to just collect a couple of questions from you guys to send to them so that they can know exactly what type of information you guys want. So I want you to leave your comments below, right? So before you do anything else, just leave a question that you would like me to ask the Master Builders Association once they have come to conduct the interview. All right, so at this point I want to say thank you for watching, thank you for liking, thank you for sharing this video, and if you are new to this channel, I want to say welcome to you. We're a group, we're a family, so leave any comments that you would like to be answered. If it is that I don't know, I will find somebody who does know and let them explain it for you guys or give you tips, right? So as a new subscriber or as a new person to this channel, I want you to hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next time.